Welcome. This is our Friday, February 26, 2016 edition of the Government News Brief. In the news, Agriculture Ministry working with farmers to save as much as it could of the current rice crop. Region 10 residents welcome budgetary health provisions as Wairuni to get new health center, and 14 community parks to be upgraded. With these and other stories, I am Azim Khan. Thank you for staying with us. This is the Government News Brief. The rice industry remains the hardest hit as El Nino weather conditions continue to prevail, but the Ministry of Agriculture is working to save the remainder of the current crop. Here are the details in this report.
General Manager of the Guyana Rice Development Board, Nizam Hassan, has reported that currently 188,672 acres are under cultivation in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9.
We are just about 84% of that crop which was targeted to be sown has been sown. And this is a good demonstration of the resilience and the efforts of the farmers, but not only the farmers, all the support services that contribute towards the growing of rice.
According to the data provided, regions 3 and 5 are the most affected by the dry conditions.
In region 3, we've lost about 300 acres out of the acreages that were sown, 13,300. So we just have about 13,000 acres. But region 3 itself is not one of the bigger rice producing acres. The target was 201,339. So we've lost 300 acres there. In region 5, 290 acres out of production of almost 86,000 acres, which has been sown. Just 290 acres have been lost. When we look at the overall figure of the acreages sown and what is lost, is under 1%.
The GRDB continues to work with the Mahaika-Myconia-Bari Agricultural Development Authority, the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, the respective regional democratic councils, and the farmers to bring relief where necessary. Extension officers of the Ministry of Agriculture are in the fields round the clock, assisting farmers in this critical time. Government News Brief, Glendon Greenwich.
In a related story, the Civil Defense Commission and other agencies are working to bring relief to drought-hit communities in Region 9. Paul McAdam reports.
The onset of drought conditions due to El Nino has led to many parts of Guyana being adversely affected. The worst of these is Region 9, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo. The largest region in Guyana, it contains the township of Lethem and is home to at least 25,000 residents in various communities such as Aishalton, Good Hope, Surama, and Anai. The Civil Defense Commission is spearheading relief efforts across this region to assist communities which lack adequate water.
Nearly all the wells are running dry. Some of them are even dry. The smaller rivers and creeks are dry. Still have some water into the major rivers, Taktu, Iring, and the Ripnuni River. What we have done, we've sent in 35 tanks, that's 450-gallon tanks into the region. And they have distributed it to the sub-regions in the area. We are sending 15 water pumps. And what they're doing is putting 2 and 3 tanks on a tractor and trailer, using the water pump, filling the tanks from where the water is available, and tractor and trailer it into the villages and to the other small satellite communities. This of itself is very tedious and it takes a long time.
The CDC is also distributing water purification tablets to ensure that the water supplies are fit for human consumption. The agency is also working with the Ghana Water Authority and the Indigenous Peoples Affairs Ministry to dig more wells across the region to support its efforts.
We're looking here at digging canals, diverting water into some areas where they can be stored, or as we've seen done at Santa Fe location in Region 9, they dig a huge lake and that they still have water there which they're using to irrigate their crops and livestock. So we're looking at those interventions right now. This morning I had a meeting with USAID as well as the Caribbean Development Bank, and I've made some proposals to them. I'm not certain how soon this will come to fruition, whether or not it will come to fruition, but we're hoping that interventions in Region 9 will be from short term to medium to long term, because we anticipate that the situation in Region 9 is going to be cyclical. Every year is going to happen, and we don't want the people to be suffering all the time.
The CDC's Director General added that the agency is working with others and international stakeholders to bring not only short-term relief measures, but also long-term ones.
The Guyana Civil Aviation Authority is well positioned to transform into an oversight body on par with its Caribbean counterparts. Glendon Greenwich tells us more.
In order for it to fulfill its role as regulatory agency, the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority will be focusing heavily on compliance.
The personnel testing and licensing system of the GCAA, which is done manually and has numerous rooms for malpractice, is now being computerized. And this, Mr. Speaker, will facilitate institutional strengthening to improve Guyana's compliance level. This will bring Guyana on par with developed countries.
$430 million has been provided in the 2016 budget for the continuation of the Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast Project and the continued institutional strengthening. November last saw the surveillance system being used in the upper space. In the coming years, it will be commissioned in the middle and the lower airspace. 2 projects will also be completed during this year: an economic impact study of civil aviation on the economy and a national aviation policy.
This study will determine the economic impact of air transport on Guyana's economy. This study will assist government, industry, stakeholders, and decision makers to better understand what the air sector contributes to the economy. It will also help the government to determine investment priorities and policy directives. National aviation policy, that's the second project, Mr. Speaker. Completion of a national aviation policy to guide the development of the sector in an orderly and well-coordinated manner.
The International Civil Aviation Organization has committed 80,000 Canadian dollars, which will further aid the strengthening of safety oversight systems. Government News Brief, Glendon Greenwich.
Residents welcome the budgetary health provisions for Region 10 as Wairuni to get new health center. More in this Shivani Rampasad report.
The residents of Linden Region 10 are eagerly awaiting improved healthcare services, along with new and rehabilitated facilities as provided for in the 2016 national budget. The sum of $615.1 million was approved for the region's health services. This money will be used for the construction of a health center at Wairuni in the Berbice River, the rehabilitation of the Upper Demerara Regional Hospital, and extension of the Rivers View Health Post. Incinerators will be constructed at the Upper Demerara Regional Hospital and the Rivers View Health Post, Amelia's Ward, Christianburg, Wizrock, 1 Mile, and numbers 47 and 58 Miles health centers. During a recent visit to the region, staff of the Government Information Agency spoke with a few residents who indicated that they are happily awaiting the completion of these projects.
It means that we've not been forgotten. That's one. I must commend the government on that. First and foremost, it will improve a lot of person health in terms of if there's better service, better facility, then person don't have to go till to the hospitals when they have the health center right here. And the fact that you importing more facilities, it means you'll be importing more persons to operate the facilities, which means person will have a better opportunity to access the services that are provided right at the hospital, right at the health center. So the convenience of me running to the hospital for something that I can achieve right here, it better the community at large.
For this Government News Brief, Shivani Rampasad reporting.
Nearly $50 million in government grant this year will allow for significant upgrades to community parks, resulting in more improved recreational facilities for youths. Here are the details.
The $50 million will support interventions ranging from resurfacing of 14 park grounds to the construction of walkways leading to the facilities.
In region number 2, Jacklow Village study. The scope of work will entail grade, landfill, and roll to the tune of $5 million. In region number 3, Crane, Metamurzorg, Tushen, landfill, grade, and roll, and the various sums allocated: $2,000, $2.5 million for Crane, $2.5 million for Metamurzorg, $2.5 million for Tushen.
Works will also be done in C&D Field Sophia, in Tocqueville, West Ramveld, and South Ramveld Park. Other areas that will benefit from the funding include Samata Point, Grove, Hopetown, Lancaster, Les Beholden, Wisrock, and Christianburg. Also covered under the $50 million is the rehabilitation of several youth choice buildings in regions 3 and 4.
For rehabilitation of the youth choice buildings in region number 3, Phoenix Park, rehabilitation of building, $1 million. Region 4, West Rumville, they'll be repairing the step of a building, that's a $500,000. Durban Backlands, enclose the bottom flat for another $500,000. There's also the procurement of a vehicle to support the work to the tune of $4 million, and procurement of sport equipment for the tune of $1 million.
The provision for the parks and recreational facilities is in keeping with the government's belief that youths need a healthy and safe environment in which to develop their sport and cultural skills. Namila Henry Rowe for Government News Brief.
With that, we have come to the end of the Government News Brief of Friday, February 26, 2016. We are reminding you that this is a photograph taken during the independence activities. If you recognize yourself in this photograph, please give us a call on 226-6715 or 225-3119. We would certainly like to speak with you. Remember, the Government News Brief along with all other GINA programs can be found on our website. We are also on Facebook and YouTube. On behalf of all of us here at GINA, thank you for watching.